is all about designing the strategies for the long term. So once you commit resources, as I said, you cannot back off. You cannot back off, because if you want to back off, you have to pull all the money back that you have put in it. That means you're going to incur the losses. So setting up of broad long range goals by the top managers is called as strategic planning. In lieu with strategic planning is the tactical plans. Tactical planning is in line with the strategic planning. That means whatever is the long term plan of action that you are working out on, tactics are what you do on a day to day basis, what you do on a regular basis to execute the long term plans of a business. So, in the long term, for example, you prepared a strategic plan where it's about purchasing a new equipment that's going to enable you to produce goods much faster. Now, how much faster do you want to produce the good? Tactical planning is per day before buying the new equipment, we are making X. So, therefore, after you buy the equipment, per day you should be making more than X that you have targeted for. So, tactical planning is on a day to day basis in the short term. Whatever are the goals that you want to achieve in the short term to ensure that the long term goals are in track, we call it as the tactical planning. So, in strategic plans, let's say, as I said, you buy the new machinery. In tactical planning, you're going to put that machinery to use and see that the productivity is going to increase. So, day to day, how should you plan? How much manpower do you require? And how much material do you require? And if you want the X amount of output, how do you manage all these resources together? Identifying the short term objectives like how much you have to produce, how much you have to use, and what is the end that you're looking at. And from the tactical plans comes the operational planning. So once you design the short range objectives of what you want to attain, operational planning is what you do when you're carrying out the operations of the business. So setting of work standards, setting of schedules, like how you're going to accomplish it, in what time frame are you going to accomplish it, per day how many you need to produce. So operational planning is, it happens on a day to day basis where you're going to make the plans and where you're going to set the standards of how the work is going to be done. So tactical planning is in the short term, what is it that you're going to achieve and what are you looking at. Operational planning is in the ground implementation of the work. How are you going to schedule the work and ensure that you go according to the plan, whether it is short term or long term, you go according to the plan of the organization. Strategic, the long term plan you've made to put the machines into use, increase the productivity, and thereby increase the efficiency and sale of the company. Tactical planning. So, in the short term, in 6 months period, how much you want to produce, or in a 1 month period, how much you want to produce, how much material you need, what are the resources that are required in order to produce. If in 1 month you need to produce a certain quantity of goods, operational planning is per day. How are you going to manage to make sure that per day you're going to get the output that you're looking at? Because every single day an activity that is performed by the organization counts in the success of the operations of the business. So operational planning is about the operations on a day-to-day basis, how to schedule, how to set the standards of work, and how to get the output. And finally, the last type of planning is called contingency planning. Contingency, the word itself, wherever and in whichever context you're hearing the word contingency, contingency is an unwarranted situation that has arisen which you haven't predicted before. So if you do not know what might happen in the future, what the future beholds for the company. So, contingency planning is a backup plan in case, just in case, whatever plans you have made They're not working right now. What are you going to do next? So we call it like, the alpha and the beta that the organizations are going to do. Whether it's for a product or whether it is for any activity that organizations perform, they always have alternatives at their disposal. Like if plan A does not work, you're going to execute plan B. If plan B is not going to work, in worst case scenario, you're going to use that. So multiple scenarios which an organization plans, multiple scenarios which an organization tries to foresee and predict. So, just in case if your primary plan is going to fail, whatever you have planned to do exactly for the organization, if it has failed, what is the next best thing that you can do to recover and reduce the damage or the losses for the company? So, contingency planning is a backup plan if in case the primary plans fail, or if in case there is any unwarranted situation that an organization is facing which they have never predicted before, contingency plans are done to take on the unforeseen circumstances.